A funny thing happens when costume designers trade stories. It's not so much the beautiful gowns and the fancy suits we talk about. It's the tangerine polyester monstrosity, or the dress that you sewed deliberately badly. Costume designers take delight in ugly clothes. But it's a particular kind of ugly. It's the kind of ugly you'll search every thrift store to find the very thing that is so loud, so obnoxious, so yuck, that it will tell the audience everything they need to know about a particular character. So anyway, about Xander and his fashion? Hi friends, it's Sara, and welcome to my continuing look at Buffy the Vampire Slayer through the medium of costume design. And today, we're going to look at Xander. Oh, Xander. Now, I know the fandom has some strong and divided feelings about Mr. Harris.
What? How?
And for good reasons. I'll be honest about my own bias, too. I love Xander, but in a complicated sort of I know you're capable of better, so why are you doing this? Sort of way. So I expect neither side of the Xander divide will be fully satisfied with this video.
Yay?
So, with that disclaimer, let's look at Xander's costume journey. He doesn't look too bad when we first see him. Kinda. A little bit baggy, layers, looks like a normal teenage kid, and oh boy, what are you wearing? Seriously, are those mushrooms or jellyfish? Answer in the comments. And this is what he's wearing when we get...
I'm inadequate. That's fine. I'm less than a man.
This won't be the last time ugly clothes and insecurities coincide. Oh, there are a couple more classics in this season, but this particular kind of 70s fever dream... lessons after nightmares? We'll see. Season 2, and there's a new wrinkle in his clothes? Xander is a 17-year-old boy. Nicholas Brendan was not. He was a man in his 20s, and he was working out.
Have you been working out?
Really, Xander should look more like this? They needed to hide his shape, and so Xander started wearing really baggy clothes. But the bagginess and the way they pulled it off does more than just hide his shape. Let's compare his look with Oz, who also wears baggy clothes. Oz's clothes are well kept and coordinate. His bagginess looks like an aesthetic choice, part of his grunge look. And, you know, it's cool. Xander's clothes are not so cool. It kinda looks like he picked them off the floor. Maybe somebody else's floor. Oversized clothes on a young person could be a sign of hand-me-downs. And with hand-me-downs, there's always a difference between the carefully maintained, maybe cheap and cheerful, or the worn and unkempt. We can see money isn't being spent on his clothes, and nor is care and time. In isolation, old and baggy clothes might not be a big issue, but poverty and neglect are everywhere in Xander's subtext, and occasionally the text too.
There are only relations with money, and they shun us, as they should.
So that's Season 2 Xander. And oh my god, boy, did you dress in the dark? This is from Passion, and when I talked about this episode in the color red video, I saved this delightful sweater to talk about here. Passion is a big thing with the red. And here Xander is a big old square of red as he's passionately telling morning people, I told you so? Classy, Xander. Less fever dream 70s shirt and more ugly sweater? And the golf pants are just an extra dose of ugly. After this, he mostly goes back to frumpy and baggy Xander for the rest of Season 2 and into Season 3. Though there is an echo of the 70s shirts in the season opener as he anxiously prepares to see Cordy again. He's actually fairly well put together for much of Season 3. But then he is somewhat faded into the background, at least until the Zeppo. When Xander is obsessing about his coolness, he's sporting this fetching outfit. It's not the worst outfit, but it's not great. And it's interesting that it's a sort of pinkish color, as is the shirt he wears on his adventures, which is quite something. Neither outfit is traditionally masculine. The choice of pink is seen as traditionally feminine, which is interesting in an episode where he's concerned a lot about being a man and being cool.
Is this a penis metaphor?
You're not wrong.
And I see we're back in 70s fever dream territory, and Oh dear, he's added a necklace. It is so very Xander that when he's at his most insecure, he wears his loudest shirts. It's such an appropriate echo for the boy who is compelled to fill every silence with a joke, no matter how inappropriate. And in the Zeppo, we follow him on his dark night of the soul in his loud shirt of insecurity. At one point, the shirt is even peeled off him, and later he's pushed out naked in the world. All through this journey, the boy keeps telling himself he needs to talk less.
To self, less talk.
And in the final scene, we see Xander looking like a pretty well-dressed man, and showing he's learned the value of silence. From then on in Season 3, he's dressed fairly well. Oh no, I tell a lie. Here's another Fever Dream shirt. But then, pretty good till graduation. Well, I don't know. Could be worse. Graduation done, and now adulthood. And it should be great. Oh. Oh no. Oh honey. Oh sweetie. You cannot pull off a sweater vest. Okay, so we all know Season 4 is rough on Xander.
What?
He can't find his place in the world, and he can't seem to settle on a style either. Like his jobs, he tries out various things, but doesn't look comfortable in anything. One neat thing about Season 4, we get 2 times that other men try on Xander's clothes. Both of them, it's at their most insecure. First, Spike gets this. Oh, this is a lovely number. And then Riley with, well...
Does he, hate me in some way I don't know about yet?
Back to Xander. And as we near the end of Season 4, we come to this, delightfully ugly sweater. And if we look at the colors on it, white is often used to convey vulnerability or openness. Blue has a connection to childhood, and black is a defensive, protective color. So in one sweater, we've got a lot of vulnerability and patches of defensiveness, and a bit of immaturity. And following the confrontation with Buffy, we get Xander at really his most honest and open yet.
Because I think maybe they're right.
And it's while he's completely naked. So that's Season 4. So on to Season 5. And oh god, the Fever Dream shirts are back, aren't they? Oh wow, they've reached nightmare level. A footnote about loud clothes. Loud isn't always ugly. Loud can be good. Loud can be beautiful. Loud can be stunning. But to work, loud has to be done right. The fit has to be just right. The colors have to coordinate with each other and suit the complexion of the wearer. It's the difference between yelling and singing. On Xander, it's all wrong. But, well, you know, that's the point. This outfit is like a symphony of ugly. It's just wonderfully awful. But what's this? Well-dressed Xander? Suave Xander? Clothes that fit? This must be an imposter. No, of course. This is the episode The Replacement, where Xander is split in 2, and he sees what he could be without his insecurities. Huh. I wonder if this will finally be the end of the nightmare shirts and the weird sweaters. It's looking good. Someone's been shopping. Well-fitting shirts and trousers, and in colors that suit him. There is kind of the too manly look he sports in Into the Woods that I don't really like. Perhaps it's fitting for this episode where he massively oversteps and gets all mansplainy in Buffy's face. Maybe he should look like a discount lumberjack here.
And I thought you were so budge!
Be worth it.
Still, overall, he's more confident, and he's showing it in his costuming. From the start of Season 6, his clothes are not fitting quite so well. I don't really know what to say about the pirate outfit. I think I'm going to do a separate video all about the Halloween costumes. And so we come to Once More with Feeling, and he looks a bit like a kid in his dad's pajamas here. And well, there's this. It's not quite the epic poems of ugly we've seen before, but it has echoes. For the next few episodes, he's mostly dressed all right, not as well as Season 5. Things aren't fitting so well, and it's not always the best color choices, but it's not terrible. Then we come to the wedding. Now, Xander has worn tuxedos 3 times before, to the homecoming dance, to prom, and as James Bond / headwaiter guy on Halloween. All 3 times the tux fit fairly well. Even if it didn't look the best, it fit. He wears the tux well. and the designers know how to choose one that suits him. This one doesn't. We're explicitly told the cummerbund is too tight.
It fit when I picked up the tux.
And the jacket is just not a good fit. And it gets worse as the episode gets on. Now, it's an easy trick to show the audience that a character doesn't fit or isn't at ease, to just put them in an ill-fitting suit. Putting him in uncomfortable wedding clothes backs up the text. Whether you think Anya and he are a good fit or not, this isn't that time, and he isn't ready to be a husband. So as we know, he leaves Anya at the altar, and when he returns, he's pulling from the loud shirt collection again. And then we get the oversized clothes, but in the final act of season 6, he strips things back and dresses very simply. For arguably his best moment in the whole series, he's just wearing a simple grey sweatshirt and jeans. Completely ordinary. And yet, completely ordinary Xander is exactly who Willow needs. Season 7 begins and there's a brand new costume designer. And here comes Xander, suited and booted and ready for business.
You're unconscionably spiffy.
Is he an adult now? He dresses quite simply for the rest of season 7. Sometimes in a suit, often in plaid and plain shirts. He dresses very much for his job now. The carpenter, the construction site. It's all very masculine. Of course, he doesn't get a lot of development this season. He's there mostly in a support role now, and he seems to have made peace with that.
7 years, Don. Working with the Slayer. I see more than anybody realizes because nobody's watching me.
So that was a look at 7 seasons of Xander's costuming. It's an interesting journey. The way his style will improve for a time, be more put together and grown up, only to fall back again into the loud clashing clothing. I'm reminded of his dream in Restless, how no matter what he did or where he went, he always found himself back in the basement. Because that's the thing about Xander. His growth isn't smooth. It happens in fits and bursts. It takes him time to find his path.
Scary, isn't it?
And along the way he stumbles and falls. A lot. But that's what makes him so, well, human. And to some of us, so relatable. And it's because of his falls that he has the place in the group that he does. Because those that fall a lot know that the fall isn't the end.
See, I need a new look. It's this whole eye patch thing.
Oh, you could go with the full black secret agent look.
Or the puffy shirt.